Hello, guys. Today we're going to talk about finances. This is Trophy Manager Tips, and here I am with one more video. My name is Alan, and I hope you guys are doing fine. This is the main page of the finances of the club. To get here, you come to this house symbol and click here, Finances. This page you see now, we discussed about it before, this one and also the sponsored deals page. So I'm not going to repeat everything again. In case you didn't watch the video about this page, or in case something is not clear to you here, go back to the video and you try to talk about it. The video will appear here in the cards, so check it out before you continue. Okay? Now let's move to the maintenance part. Here you see the maintenance costs per week and per season for the different facilities of the stadium. Okay? I will also open the stadium section here. In the previous video, we talked about Stadium. Also, if you didn't watch that video, I advise you to watch it first before we continue here, because most of what I said there is going to be important for you to understand the content of this part. Okay? So check that video first. It will be here in the cards as well. Everything that I'm going to say in this video is just my opinion. In this topic, there can be many different approaches, and different ways can reach satisfactory results. So take it into consideration that what I'm going to say here is not the only strategy you can use. It is just the one I consider to be better. Okay? So let's go to the stadium tab. Open here now. You are familiar with this already? So let's see. First of all, how big should your stadium be? How should you increase it? You should increase it according to the number of supporters you have. Usually, at the beginning, we use factors to multiply to your fan base. For example, let me open my club page. This is the number of supporters that I currently have. I should build my stadium at the beginning using a factor multiplying to this number. Usually, we recommend to use a factor of 2.5, which is a good estimation, but you can also use 2.2, 2.3 if you want to be more conservative, or even 2.6 if you want to be more aggressive, but usually 2.5, 2.4 is a good estimation. Anyway, this factor is not exact, so it's just for you to have an idea on how to increase at the beginning, when you have no clue about how many seats you need. Understand? After you increased, let's say, to 2.5, you observe some matches. If your stadium is constantly getting full, it usually doesn't get full to the maximum capacity, but it gets close, very close. If it's happening many times, then it's a sign that you should increase more your stadium. Okay, then you increase a bit more and you observe. Is it still getting full? You increase more, and then you go until you reach an optimal size of your stadium. Now let's take a look at the other facilities. Let's start with the money-making ones. We're talking about the fast food joints, merchandise stand, merchandise store, restaurant, and sausage stand. These facilities you can increase whenever you can because they are always profitable. I'm not sure if when you create your team you get them at level 0 or 1. Let's suppose that you get them in level 1, so as soon as you can, increase to level 2. Then there will be 2 weeks until they are ready. If you have money, increase to level 3, and then keep going until you reach level 10. Okay? Because no matter how big your club is, they will always be profitable. And we make sure to increase your size accordingly too. Otherwise, we'll get less money than you could be getting. Understand? Let's make a quick simulation with a small size team. Because if I make with mine, since I have a lot of supporters, you may think it's profitable just because I have many supporters, but no. Let me pick a club that has just been created. I'm going to do that by coming to this topic in the International Forum, where every new club is supposed to make their first posts here. When you create your club, you'll be asked to post here in this topic as well. So by coming to the last page, I know that I can see some of the newest clubs in the game there. Okay, then I'll just pick one of them to see the supporters they have. These last two are from Italy. I'm not gonna take them. I'll show you why. Because at this moment they are having match, so when there is a match going on, I cannot see the supporters. Okay, so they don't work for me now. Let me take the Saudi Arabia one. Should work. Let's see. It works. I can see the number of supporters. See, so they have this amount of supporters. Let me take the calculator that I have open here. So let me take the number of supporters that team has times a factor of 2.5. Okay, so this is the expected attendance, an estimation of the attendance for that team. I am also considering that his stadium is big enough to fit this amount of supporters. Okay, now let me pick a random facility, money making facility. Let me pick the merchandise stand, for example. Each spectre pays 100. Okay, so if they get this attendance times 100, this is the amount of money they will make with that facility per match. Okay, this amount, one match. Each club has 17 home matches in a season. So if I multiply this by 17, this is the total amount of money that club can make in one season with that facility. Okay? 33.33723, let's round it to 34 million. Now let's check the maintenance of it. The maintenance of the merchandise stand, it was the merchandise stand, right? Yeah, merchandise stand. The maintenance of the merchandise stand in level 10 to make that amount of money is level 10. Cost this 13.5 million per per season. See, this is the cost per season. So even for that club, which is a very new club, which has just been created, if he had merchandise in level 10, even though the maintenance is expensive, it would be profitable for him. Understand? Because money making facilities are always profitable. That's the point I wanted to make. Okay. The merchandise store is also profitable. Let's just check to make sure. But as you know, the merchandise store doesn't pay you per match, but per week, 200 per fan. So in this case, we have no factor. We just take this number of supporters, 735 times 200. This is what the club makes per week. Since the season has 2 weeks, 2 week corresponds to a month in reality. Okay. So this is the amount of money this club could make from the club store, around 19 million. The maintenance is 7.4 million. See? Also profitable. Then the money making facilities you just increase whenever you can. Don't worry about it. Regarding the indirect money making facilities, which are the parking, the toilets, and the floodlights, I would advise you not to invest on them at the beginning. Okay? To define when they are profitable or not, it will demand more time because you have to make some simulations. It will depend on your fan base, and I plan to make a video about it in the future, only about these structures, the indirect money making facilities, because it's a bit more complex, I think. So I cannot put in this video. Okay, but basically, I would advise you to focus on increasing your stadium and your money making facilities. The indirect money making facilities, no. Okay? In the case of floodlights, for example, level 2 is never profitable for any club, even for the biggest club in the game. We only increase this because to play international competitions, it's compulsory. Okay? Then we must increase. Otherwise, before you play international competitions, don't think about level 2. Level 1 maybe, but I have to analyze better. And I will talk about it in the specific video about these facilities. Okay, after you increase the money making a lot until you get to more expensive construction levels, you could start increasing a bit parking and toilets. Let me go to the forum where I can see all the construction costs. Then it's better to explain to you. You remember the post we came, right? In the previous videos to find that table. Let me go there again, where I can see all the construction costs for all levels of all facilities. Should be in post 10 here. Yeah, it's here. So see, let me take, for example, the merchandise shop. At the beginning, it's very cheap, right? Like this. And you grow, grow. Actually, the merchandise shop is cheap all the way. 6.5 is not so much. But if you take the merchandise stand, for example, then it's different. When you get to level 5, it costs 8 million already to upgrade more. Then in level 6, it's 12 million. Okay? So I think when you get here to level 5 or 6 in this, then level 7 in this, like you're paying 8 million, level 8 in this too, then you may increase the parking and toilets. Where are they? You may increase these two first levels of the parking and toilet. Okay? It can help you to increase the attendance, and it's much cheaper than the other money making facilities, so it's okay. It will help a bit. To the third, then I wouldn't advise yet. Then you stop. Then you can invest more, go to level 9 in social stand, level 10 in social stand, level 9 fast food, level 8 in restaurant, grow a bit more. When you get here, when it gets much more expensive again, like 20 million, 30 million, then maybe you grow one more step in parking and toilets. Okay? You could even consider the fourth one, but maybe not. Maybe the third is safer. Then you continue. After you reach level 10, in not here, so I'm sorry, level 10 in other money making facilities, then by then you'll be able to make your own calculation already. I will have released my video. Then you can evaluate if you should keep growing these ones. Okay? Yeah. Let me go back to the stadium. I will put this one. I don't need anymore. Not this one. Later maybe. Leave it open. Okay, I hope it's all clear so far. Let's move to the next group of facilities, which are the injury related facilities: medical center, athletic trainer, pitch cover, pitch draining, sprinklers, and heating. What I would tell you about these facilities is at the beginning of your club, in your first seasons, just don't invest in it at all. Not a cent. I'm not sure, but maybe the first level is compulsory. You have to check when you create your team. I don't remember. I created mine a long time ago, but I will see when I create my extra team. But maybe the first level is compulsory. If it is, okay, upgrade the first level. After that, no, not even the cheap ones, okay? Because these facilities, they are meant to protect your most valuable players. So if you have some good players in your team, you don't want them to get injured because you want them in the field for the biggest number of games as possible. Okay, but when you are starting your team in the first seasons, you don't really have players who are worth to be protected. With all respect to those players, but it's not worth to invest money in this type of structures now. Understand? After you have like 8 or 10 seasons, you may start thinking about it. Okay, before I would say no, not even the cheap levels. Okay, it's just not worth it. Then we come to the last group of facilities, the player related facilities, which include the youth academy here and the training grounds. Here I think I will disappoint many people, but I have to tell the truth about what I think. You should not invest in these structures at the beginning, okay? I believe you must upgrade to level 1, the youth academy, so that you can pull out at least one youth and try your luck. Maybe you get a high potential one and you can get some money. Anyway, I think it's compulsory, the first level. The training grounds may be compulsory the first two. If it is, okay, upgrade level 1. If not, don't. And after that, level 2, 3, 4, don't go. Don't go even to level 2. Okay? I think the best thing to do is to upgrade your money making facilities to level 10 to increase your stadium to the maximum possible to suit your supporters. And after that, maybe you get the indirect money making facilities to level 5 too, but this could be discussed. There will be some calculation involved. After you made all that, you should stop. you should accumulate money for some seasons. This is how I did in my team with Napolitano. You should accumulate money for some seasons, then you start investing in youth academy and training grounds. Why do I say that? Because these facilities, their construction cost is expensive and the maintenance can get very expensive in higher levels. They don't bring any revenue to you in a short term, they only bring costs. They are long term investments, you not see any result in a short time, and if your club is not financially stable, you could even go bankrupt if you cannot plan this infrastructure properly. Okay? So my advice to you is don't invest on it. Just like in the injury related facilities, don't think about it in the first 8 to 10 seasons. Okay? I will also make a video specifically about these structures to tell you when I think you should start investing on them, to make some simulations, to show you how much money you should accumulate before you start investing on them. Okay, then you have a better idea of it. Let me just quickly go to the cost table again. Then you can see how much these facilities costs. See, from the first level, they are already expensive, like 7 million, 6 million, 6.5 million. And the maintenance, they get more expensive each level you grow, okay? So they can make a big harm to your finance if you don't plan them properly. But again, guys, this is my opinion. There can be strategies in which a manager starts growing these facilities earlier and they succeed. I honestly don't see much space for that. But yeah, there may be any strategy in which you don't develop youth academy, you develop only training grounds, then you buy players from the market, could work. But when you're just starting out, I don't think you should risk so much. So I think the safer approach is not to invest them for many seasons. To end the video, we are done with this part, so I'll close this tab. This one, yeah, we don't need any more as well. Calculator, also not. Okay, we're done with the maintenance. Now let's go to the wages tab. In order to have a healthy economy, it's important for you to keep your wages low, especially at the beginning, because the wages can be very harmful to your economy. Avoid hiring high salary players. It's best if none of your players has high salary. But in case you really need to, you can pay a higher salary to your best players. But even for those, try to control as much as you can. In this topic of wages, I have a kind of controversial opinion, I think. Something that I'm not so convinced about, but I would like to test. I did not do that when I started my team, Napolitano, but I'm thinking about maybe applying this strategy to my Italian team to test what the outcome will be. After I create a team in Italy, I will decide. I believe that the best for you at the beginning would be if you just sell all your players and focus on developing your structures. Then maybe you could apply some agent selling strategy, which I also have to explain later to you in a future video. Maybe in the next one, I will evaluate the possibilities because I cannot explain it to you right now because I did not even explain to you what agent's price mean yet. So I have to explain it before. Okay, but as I'm telling you, this is just an idea. It will be a bit boring if you follow in this strategy because your team will probably lose all matches for some seasons. But I think that it will pay back well in the long term. Then, if you compare the overall results in 10 seasons, it may be better if you follow this strategy of selling all players. But it's just an idea, I didn't test it yet, as I'm telling you guys. So you're free to choose which strategy you want to follow, whether you want to sell other players, as I'm telling you, or if you want to make competitive teams to get more supporters and win titles. It is up to you. Okay, I think actually it may be even better best to you if you buy players and make reasonable average teams to compete. Okay, otherwise it can be boring. For me, who have been for some time in the game, I will look for optimization for more efficient strategies. Then that's why I'm thinking about this. But if you're just starting out in the game, you shouldn't do that. You should buy players, make strong teams, competitive. It will be more fun to you. Anyway, regardless of which strategy you decide to use, You should keep your wages low. Okay, you should pay close attention to the level of your wages. Control them at all cost. This is very important for the financial success of your club. Okay, that's all for this video, guys. If you have any comments or questions about the video, please write in the comment section below. If you have doubts about any aspect of the game, write it down as well, and I will do my best to help you out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.